Hey everyone, I'm Caryn Solomon, and welcome to What's IGN Crushing On, IGN Africa's official entertainment podcast. I'm your host, and I'm joined as always by my producer and editor Rebecca Barches. So this is a show where we discuss all things entertainment and pop culture with a new guest every week. We bring recommendations, news, and fun facts, sometimes touching on the more serious issues surrounding these topics. Hello and welcome to episode 4. I'm joined here today by Leanne Phillipson. Hello, Leanne.
Hello. How's it going, Caryn?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm good. Freezing a little, but surviving.
Oh, you had a bit of like a snow adventure this weekend. Tell us about it.
Indeed, we took a drive out to Franschhoek and we went to the Montreal Nature Reserve. There was snow everywhere. It was wonderful. But just a PSA to people living in South Africa, actually anywhere, the cocoa is still real. And when you are out in public, please wear your mask. I was just like, I think people assume because they're hiking in the outdoors, they don't need to be wearing masks. But it was really crowded and people were not being safe. So get your shit together.
Maybe I think like the snow. Maybe I think the snow is like protects them from COVID.
Cold air was going to protect them. Either way, it was gorgeous out there. Luckily, not too cold, but enough to see the snow and feel like I was in the Swiss Alps for a while. How was your weekend?
Good. So I did see a bit of snow driving through Ceres, but I didn't get out the car. So, but yeah, I went on safari and it was a lot of fun. I was also frozen yesterday morning because it was almost in Sutherland. The game lodge or the game reserve, and we were going and we drove through mist, and like there's a picture of us on the safari thing afterwards, and we all literally looks like blocks of ice, like we were just sitting there. At one point, like our tour guide told us to look out for a rhino, like because we that whole weekend we were looking for the rhino. If this rhino is just like everywhere, and like just not where we were, and so we went overtime looking for this rhino. So he's like, okay, look out. I couldn't move my neck anymore. I was just in one position. I was like, he better come in this eye way because I'm moving no other way. But we did end up seeing.
Yeah, being on the open top safari truck is not fun when it's cold and windy and miserable.
It was frozen. But like it was a lot of fun and it was worth it in the end, I think. I did have a good time. And I told you earlier, but a rhino ended up charging at us. But luckily, our tour guide Bertrus was very well trained, and he knew what to do, and he like zoomed past. Yeah, he gave us like so many fun facts. Like I was like, wow, that's so interesting. I didn't know I would be interested in the wildebeest. The wildebeest just like hopped over, just gave us like a side eye. We had a ostrich dance for us. Yeah, no, it was a very fun weekend. Like I don't know, I'm not necessarily like a nature person, but this is the second time I've done safari and I've enjoyed it both times. So well, I mean, yeah. So I feel like I'm warming up to the nature vibes.
I mean, it helps when the safari is accompanied by like 5-star chalets or at least a decent chalet with running water.
I'm not a tainted person. I don't have that capacity in me.
Yeah, not trying to be on a campsite. Yeah, you're just trying to look at the animals.
2 hours of animals a day enough for me. And then but yeah, so yeah, I had a good weekend. But I did news-wise, I did also see, even though the place I was at had no reception and like Wi-Fi that was only pertinent in some areas, but I did see that that Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum are now official. Well, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I mean, like everyone's saying it.
But it's like their second or third outing in like a 3-week period, and she was laughing hysterically at his jokes because Channing Tatum is so funny.
Hey now, come now. I've watched 21 Jump Street. He's very funny. 22 Jump Street, even better. That scene where Jonah Hill sleeps with Ice Cube's daughter, and then he dances around the office. Oh my gosh, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I laugh so much.
So Channing Tatum can get it
No,
apparently because he's funny and he can dance and yeah, Channing Tatum.
yeah, but you I don't know. I was reading this other journalist I like Auntie Harris a newsletter, and she was like, they're cute. Granted, she's too cool for him, but she's also too cool for everybody. So you've got to be like, you know,
I feel like it's the same vein of like, I mean, maybe not, but kind of similar, like Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. 'Cause everyone's
yeah.
like, apparently that's getting so serious. Engagement rumors are around the
Oh
corner, and
gosh.
everyone's like, no, this has gone too far. She's too cool. Everybody stop. We need to intervene. Like, call a prayer circle, get people together, make these women realize what's happening.
Because you are like, but then who is cool enough for Rihanna? Zoe Kravitz is cool enough for Rihanna.
Yeah, I'm like in my dream universe, like let them get together, just break the internet. Maybe that's what we need to heal the world. Like,
But you were saying before we recorded that like the celebrity thing of like laughing hysterically at something that they
oh
person.
yeah, it was. I think there's a series of photos. It was Anna de Armas laughing at Ben Affleck, and then Zendaya laughing at Tom Holland. And everyone's like, men aren't that funny. You cannot be with your head falling backwards, like with your hand on your knee. You are not laughing that hard at a man. Like, yeah.
No, I wanted to say I just saw the opposite one where also where Andrew Garfield is laughing hysterically for something Emma Stone said, and like people were like, "It's not that funny." Like,
Okay, to be fair, Emma Stone's also is an odd character. Talking about Andrew Garfield, so I saw this video, and I feel like you would have more background to it than I would because you watch slightly more stuff. Of Andrew Garfield and Stephen Colbert like making out on the Stephen Colbert show. On Do you
I don't
know
know. There's
about
probably like a
that? Did you
skit that
see
they
it?
did.
Why was it happening?
It's probably like a
Yeah,
skit or
because
something.
it started as like, so Colbert was asking him why he was kissing Ryan Reynolds at some award show. Then Andrew Garfield was like, no, because I just wanted him to know that even if he lost, he still meant the same to me. And so I just wanted to show him that I still love him regardless. And then Colbert was like, oh, okay, cool. So you're comfortable just kissing men. And then Andrew Garfield was like, well, that's a stupid question to ask. And then Colbert was like, yeah, it kind of is. Like, I'm comfortable kissing men. So, I mean, that's fine. And then they just started kissing. And I was like, wow, this is an interesting, like, scene. Why have I not seen it before? Like,
Okay,
how is
I'm
it
gonna
only
watch
now
that.
entering my consciousness?
I'm gonna watch that right after this. I need that in
Adds
my
to the
life. Oh my
Google list.
gosh. Definitely need to watch that. Um
I
no, I
mean,
don't know.
talking about Andrew Garfield,
Mhm.
have you seen the new Spider-Man trailer?
Of course I have. Are you mad? Like the minute I saw it on Twitter, I was like, have to watch it. No, I love my boy Spidey with my whole entire heart and soul. I would die for Spider Man. Um, so I'm
Spider-Man in general or Tom
Spider
Holland
Man in general.
Spider-Man?
I love him. I love him so much. He's my favorite
Hmm.
comic book hero. I just think he's like so funny and so like, and also I always like his villains and I like his storylines and stuff. But yeah, I know I'm really excited. I love the other Spider-Man movies, even the Andrew Garfield ones, and so I'm like, I do think that Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, and I don't. And it's annoying to make that kind of, but he is the most like accurate, and I do think he's really good at it. But I also just love all of them, so I don't really want to make the whole comparison thing.
Which Spider-Man was the
Yeah,
best? I'm just excited for the return of all the villains. I mean, we've got Doc Ock in the mix. There was the fact that they did not even need to put Willem Dafoe in as Green
Mm,
Goblin. They just needed his laugh was
yeah,
like spine tingling.
brilliant.
It was amazing.
Jamie Foxx. Oh, yeah, no, I'm excited. It's gonna be exciting. That was actually like probably I watched it a few times, and I think they did such a good job of like giving us information to like thirst over and get excited over, but also leaving out enough that we can still guess and there'll still be surprises, hopefully. And I like that. And even though we still have quite a while to go before the movie comes out, um, I usually get annoyed at trailers about how much they show us, but I think that it gave us a good balance, and it was a really well directed trailer, and I'm excited.
But also, Marvel's got an interesting run of, especially towards the later movies, Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War, of putting in things that don't actually make final cut of
Yeah,
the movie. So like fans draw one conclusion and like that isn't even in there. Or tampering with the footage, so like not showing
yeah,
things as they would appear in the film. Like if Andrew
mhm,
Garfield and Tobey Maguire do make an appearance and they haven't included them on purpose, like those sorts of things. So I'm like, it is. I'm keen to see what the next trailer looks like, but most of all, I'm keen for the movie to come to be released because yeah,
yeah.
the impatience is setting in.
Talking about like movie trailers, did you see the trailer for Diana, the Kristen Stewart?
Yes. I mean, I saw the poster before I saw the trailer, and I was like,
Mm,
"This is going to be epic." I mean, I'm starting to potentially borderline get a little bit royal family fatigue, but maybe that's
yeah,
my
I
own
get
fault
you.
because I consume so much royal family like content.
Mm, content.
There's just so much out at the moment, and so I'm interested to see Kristen Stewart pull off Diana because I was skeptical of the casting, if I can put it that way. Like
Mm,
it didn't completely make sense to me when I first heard about it. But seeing the trailer, I mean, she's it sounds like she's pulling it off. I've heard her accent has gotten great reviews so far.
I'm like on the opposite. I'm not buying it. But I get that the trailer is kind of short. But I don't know, like when I look at her, I just see Kristen Stewart. I don't see Diana. I see, and I don't know if it's because she's just such a recognizable actor, or I don't think she looks enough like Diana. But I just see like Kristen Stewart, and yeah,
Mm,
maybe I just need to see more. Like, and also like I didn't hear enough in the trailer to sort of like get the accent. Like she doesn't say enough to me for me to kind of like to
yeah, she
gauge
just
whether it's good or
says.
not. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, the proof is in the pudding. Like in the actual movie, like if she can handle the mannerisms, if she can pull it off, then like I can't judge from just the trailer. But I'm not. I don't feel enticed by the trailer. Like it doesn't encourage me to want to watch the movie more. Then
And also, I think based on everything I've read, it's a very narrow, not narrow. It's set in a very
yeah, I
specific
like that
part
though.
of Diana's story.
Mm,
So it's literally, I think that just those 3 days where she decides to finally divorce Charles.
mm,
And so it is going to be, I think, interesting because there is so much to her story, and we all are so aware of her story that maybe focusing on just this one part means you get more of the character development, you get more of that
yeah,
depth, you get
I
more
like that though.
of like the
I
motivations,
like
which is
narrow
cool.
biopics. Like Ma
Mm,
Rainey's Black Bottom. Like I like the fact, oh no, no, even better, One Night in Miami. Like just showing these characters on this specific day and how they react to a certain situation and what you can learn about the characters through that
mm.
specific like time period is, I think, is such a brilliant way of telling a story. And I think that the way that we've been doing biopics before, like I mean, I still enjoy the long biopic. I'm gonna watch it. But like it's also been done so many times. It's interesting now to see the sort of like the sliver, especially somebody. like that we know so much of their lives. Like a lot of, I feel
Mm.
like a lot of public figures, we don't actually know a lot about their younger lives or their, their stories. But when it comes to someone like Diana, who I mean, it's every 2 minutes on ITV, there's another Diana documentary.
Everything
The
has
Crown
been
has covered it.
dissected and done.
There's that movie with Naomi Watts. Like, there's a lot on her. Um, so
Mm.
maybe just this one sliver is quite interesting. It's like the Queen. Like, it was. I mean, there wasn't a biopic on the Queen. It was just the Queen and dealing with the crisis after Diana's death. It was
Yes.
that kind of aspect of it. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, as I said, like, maybe the movie will. Maybe I will want to see the movie like later. But yeah, after it comes out. I don't know what to say. But yeah, talking about public figures, today on the show, we have Jessica Batten, who is from Love is Blind. So, about 2 episodes ago, yeah, we had like a, oh, you weren't here, you were absent that day. But, the, Terrence Stain, like, hosted with me. And we were talking about Love is Blind, the TV show. And like, so basically a couple of years, so background for anybody who hasn't watched the show, so maybe a year or so ago, just before the pandemic, um she there was a show that came out about these couples in Atlanta, or these singles in Atlanta, and they go in these pods and they talk to people through the pods, and then they try and make connections with people, and you can only see the person once you propose. And then you propose, y'all go
Mm-hmm.
on a vacation together, and anytime you're allowed to back out at any time, like whatever. And then you go on a vacation together, get to know each other a bit better. Then you move in for a week, and then you get married. You prepare for your wedding and you get married. So that's like the timeline of the story. In the original show, what happened was two couples ended up getting married, and it's been like 2 or so years, and they're still married. And there were three couples that said no at the altar. There were some that said no before the time.
Oh, wow.
So there was whew, what is these people's names now? So Jessica, who was on the show, and Mark, she said no when they got to the altar. And then Damian and what is Damian's girl's name? Um Giannina. Damian and Giannina. He said no at the altar, but what ended up happening is, after like that initial like embarrassment, they ended up dating, and then they were still dating like by this year. And then Kenny and Kelly were another couple, and she said no, and they went their separate ways. So Mark and Jessica went to separate Kenny
Okay.
and Kelly. And then 2 years later, they had a reunion. It was like an anniversary party for the two couples who ended up getting married. And everybody told their
Mm-hmm.
stories, sort of like how their lives had changed since the show, what we didn't get to see on the show, and sort of like, yeah, like what has happened since, and what friendships have been made and stuff. And Jessica in the original show, she was sort of like edited as the villain. Like, she didn't really like the guy she was with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, people said she was stringing him along and stuff like that. And then she kind of liked this other guy who was with another girl type thing. She also had a connection with him. And anyway, she was like painted as the villain. And then in the reunion show, like, they kind of showed her side of the story, and like they showed how she was sort of like villainized, but also like she didn't really get explained, and how Mark was actually like cheating on her, the guy that she was with, and she knew that something was
Oh,
off.
wow.
And just like her story since, and it was really interesting, and it sort of gave us sort of a redemption arc. And when I chatted to her, it was really nice, because she was like so open, but she also was so, like, she didn't take herself seriously, man. So she was just like, she was so self-aware, and she made jokes, and she was so chill about what has happened. Like, I think she's like far removed enough from the situation to just like talk candidly
Yeah.
about it. And it was really lovely that she did the interview with us. And she had actually listened to the podcast before doing the interview, which was wild. And
Hoot,
we did
hoot.
it at like, it was like 7 o'clock here, and she lives in California, so it was like early morning by her, and it was like hot, and she was wearing like a sun hat, and I was like in like 3 bundles of clothes. Um, but anyway, we had like a really great conversation, and we spoke about like a lot of the stuff that happened on the show, and her life since. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. It's like a very good primer for anyone who did not watch a show. If you did watch a show, I'm sorry that you had to just go through all these minutes of me recapping everything. But but yeah, here's our interview with Jessica. That's so touching.
It's funny when you listen to someone, especially a podcast, right?
Mm.
It's so in depth and things like that. So you definitely feel like you
Yeah.
know the person. So
Oh my gosh, thank you for listening. My word. So like, how are you? How has this time been for you?
I'm good. It's been really amazing, right? There's been kind of an outpouring of love, and of course that feels really good. And I feel kind of a relief, having a story out there, and feeling kind of validated and all those things. But I think also anytime, for me specifically, having all of these eyes on me, it's a lot on your nervous system. It's like, I always use this analogy when you think someone's talking about you and it really bothers you to the point where you're, thinking, spending your time, your mind's being consumed by it. It's like that times millions, So,
oh my gosh.
But it's been lovely, and so many amazing people have reached out. And so for those things, I'm super grateful.
So, okay, so let's go back to the original season. So did you feel kind of like, I don't want to say upset, but like horrible about like the way you were portrayed in the show?
I did. It was super embarrassing, because I'm someone, I've been working my whole life. So I have an entire professional life. It's not like I was going on this show to try to become 100% of the time Instagram influencer or something like that. So it was, quite embarrassing, and it was definitely draining on my mental health, and I had to kind of pull those things together pretty quickly. But yeah, it was pretty tough to handle, and just learning that social media can be a very dark place. So yeah, it was pretty tough, but I'm just glad I had some great friends around me, and that allowed me to really pull myself through it and kind of lean on my faith to get through all of that. But now, I'm kind of glad that it all happened the way that it did, because there have been a lot of great things to come from it. And now I think there's kind of a broader lesson in all of it for me anyway.
But why did you decide to go on the show originally?
I love the concept, actually. And I was just getting out of this weird relationship that was probably so far from what I was really looking for the rest of my life. And I thought, all my friends are kind of settling down and doing their thing. And the monotony of, being in my career, and that's always been first for me. I kind of wanted to just throw a wrench in the whole damn thing and just shake it up and have some fun and create some excitement. So I thought, why not? And the way they were pitching it, it's like, you're really, when you're in this whole social media dating arena, it's swiping left and swiping right. And it is so desensitized. So it was alluring, right? To think about the concept of, liking someone for what's on the inside versus the outside. And I really liked, the concept of that. I think in reality, it plays out a bit differently than something black and white. But I loved the concept, and just where I was in my life, I was willing to take a chance. And also, I didn't know, none of us knew it was going to end up being, the biggest reality show on Netflix. I was hoping after the whole thing wrapped that, it would not get any airtime whatsoever, but hey, here we are.
And it was like a couple of years between you guys recording it and then it coming on the air, wasn't it? Like
it was about a year and a half after.
Sure. And then also
So
having to
even
keep your life.
remembering what happened, we're like, I had no idea. Thank goodness I kept a journal because that helped jog my memory quite a bit. But yeah, it was pretty wild how big it got.
So how did you deal with sort of like the social media response, like the memes and that kind of things? Like, I can't even imagine. Like, you super sharp.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is I don't take myself too seriously. And, some of the editing that they did, I could definitely find the difference between myself and the character of Jessica on the show. So that was really helpful for my psychological well-being. A lot of counseling. I've been to a therapist every week since that show aired, and I won't ever go back regardless of kind of what space I'm in mentally. Friends to take over Instagram and strong friends, some friends, walked away, and some friends I walked away from because it just, the older I get and the more things I go through, the smaller my circle becomes. And that's, really important to me. But just having the right people around me and, not taking myself very seriously. I'm pretty self-deprecating as it is. Some of the memes I laughed at a good amount. But yeah, there were some really hurtful days, right? Like there would be days where I would get a little bit more confidence. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to go into social media. Like, I feel like people are kind of over it, or, some of these things. And like, one day I just remember I was out with my boyfriend. We were in Laguna Beach and was having a blast. And I went back and I like randomly got on there, and this person said, this guy actually slid in and he was like, I can't believe you haven't killed yourself yet.
Someone needs a city.
And it was the way he's like, we're all waiting. And it was the way he kind of like punctuated it. I was just like, God, just to think about saying this to someone. But then just like the way his punctuations were, I'm just like, I don't know why I was so like, I was hanging on that, but it was so crazy. And I just, in that moment, it's just horrific, and it was something that ruined, the entire weekend. And see, it's a dark place. You'll have those things happen. But more so than anything, it's just putting up guardrails around allowing yourself to do that. And it was like, I would learn those lessons from those moments and to just put up guardrails around myself and have, the right people in my life, thankfully, to help me through it.
So do you think, like in the show, everybody was joking about you worrying about the age gap between you and Mark, but do you think that this is what I realized, was that maybe it was like you sort of like harping on something because you knew something was off in the relationship, and that was like an easy thing to hold on to.
Right. It was interesting the way it played out that I was ageist. And I did keep saying, 24 versus 34. And there was something to that in terms of the viewers only see such a small percentage of everything that happened in the pods and outside the pods. Yeah. My feeling, and I felt it almost immediately when I was spending time with Mark in real life, was that in the pods, he was projecting something totally different than what his real life was and who he was as a person. To me, it was an experience, I think, was the way that I was kind of like interpreting it, because I felt like he wasn't owning who he really was. I felt like he didn't know who he really was. Like he didn't know what he really wanted. He just wanted something, Yeah. And to me, that wasn't what I've waited so long for. So I almost immediately knew. And I think that's why I kept saying, you're 24 years old. I'm trying to help him see that, there's so much more to learn about himself. Yeah. Right. Before he puts himself in a situation where it's really hard to unwind.
And I kind of like got that your intuition knew that, something, he wasn't all what he appeared to be.
Exactly. It was pretty much immediately.
So I know that like the reunion painted like this very pretty picture, but like which of the cast did you really like keep in contact with?
Actually, it was most of the people that you didn't even see.
Yeah.
So, which is funny. I had two very good girlfriends in there. One, I called her my little yogi. She would take me through a yoga session every single day. And she was just this really calming force. She got engaged and we were whisked off to this hotel.
Yeah.
And I was just, I'll see her on the other side. I'll see her in Mexico. Little did I know she was gone. She didn't get to move on with the show. The same with my other friend, Lexi. And we really had this bond through our faith as well. So it's like the people who were in there that I could really kind of, who I had bonded with and who I thought I could open up with, which is really important in this type of experience because you're cut off completely from everything and everyone you know. They were kind of gone. So going into the reunion, they were all back. So I was looking forward to seeing all of them. Of course, Kelly is, such a good friend, as well as Penny. So it was great to see all those guys.
But like, as you're saying that, I'm thinking like, if you're in a situation like that and your support system is cut off from you, and then you think you found a new support system and that's also cut off from you, I can imagine how that can affect your psyche.
Yeah, that was really tough, actually.
Oh.
And those guys were just totally gone. And here we were. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this is not the same person I felt like it was more kind of like a performance.
Yeah.
Once I met Mark in real life, I'm like, wait, who was this person? And there were a lot of kind of lies that I found out. And nothing crazy, but just things like embellishments.
Yeah.
So here I am and I'm going, what on earth? And my friends are gone. And guess who's the other person that I connected with? Barnett. So that's where that all kind of plays out too. Cause I'm like, that's the next closest person to me. Which, obviously caused some trouble for me as well.
Yeah. With the reunion, were you glad to be back? Were you glad that you could see everyone again? Because it seemed kind of awkward, but
yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I have love for everyone that was a part of the show, and especially the folks that weren't shown that came back. I love those guys so much. But yeah, I have love for all those people. And although, it was difficult to walk back in, most of that was because of Mark and his girlfriend, and they didn't end up showing up. So
yeah. So why do you think you blocked? Let's ask this question from Barnett's Instagram.
Oh, yeah, it was so strange because we were talking, and the funny thing is, like, he and I had a totally different relationship that I don't think you see. It was very kind of professional. We talked about a lot about our work, and he's an engineer and he knows tech. And so we talked about a lot of those things. And that's actually what we're talking about on Instagram. He was trying to purchase the software that I sell. Yeah. And all of a sudden I couldn't see his page anymore. So I don't know what made him block me, but that was before the show aired, of course. So I'm sure he would have blocked me after the show aired and how everything looked. But yeah, I think he has a lot of respect for Amber, and I think Amber doesn't want to exist in my same world. So what do? You're going to side with your wife, and that's the united front. So I respect that.
So have you guys not made up since the reunion?
No, there's been zero communication.
I mean, I suppose it's healthier for all of you, I suppose.
I don't think there's any reason for us to be friends, except that we were filming a show, and I thought, hey, I'm coming to their party. I didn't think twice about buying a gift. I bought a gift for both couples, and it wasn't even really, I was really more focused on seeing Mark and how Mark was going to react to me telling the story. And that's really what I was focused on. I wasn't even thinking about this whole thing with the Barnetts. So I was just kind of bringing a gift for each couple and, just kind of attending a party that I was invited to. And I had no idea that was all coming.
So did you return the gift? Like, what happened? What happened?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I have those champagne glasses, actually. I just brought them home. It was so awkward. I remember I think I like actually had the Tiffany's box with me on the plane too, because you can't really pack those. I'm just like,
Oh my gosh.
weird because I was giving him the gift bag, so I was just sitting there like this, and I don't think you could really see it in the shot, but I was just like, do you go? Would you go to this? It was so awkward. Oh my gosh.
Like, you guys are mad. Just take the gift. Like, even if you don't have to see it again, just take the damn gift.
Exactly. It's like, I've been in a relationship for a year and a half. Like, I live across the country. Like, I'm not trying to do anything here except for attend your party and try to be like as amicable as I can here, which I do not have any negative feelings towards them whatsoever. I mean, even with everything that played out, like, I still am so unattached from them and that situation that I don't even care, like, this dragging in the media and things like this. Like, I'm not even, I don't have any emotional attachment to this whatsoever. My boyfriend actually, he's like, this is crazy. He doesn't live in the world of like conflict and drama like this, but he actually slid into Barnetts DMs once because, you know, they had posted something or whatever. I obviously can't see, but he saw it. And he's just like, hey, you know, can we make amends or something like that? Because he's just trying to kind of solve this for me, right? And that just, you know, created this whole thing as well. So at this point, I'm not going to beat myself up for it anymore. You know, I'm moving on, and clearly they want to move on thinking I don't exist.
So have you heard from Mark?
Have I talked to him?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I have not spoken with him. But yeah, I think he has a new baby and a wife and a whole family. So I know that's something he wanted. So I'm happy for him.
So yeah, maybe he's also made peace with everything.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he just doesn't want to be a part of the show anymore. And, you know, so that's definitely his prerogative. I wish he would have shown up to the reunion party.
Because of a closure.
Right. And I wanted him to kind of step into the light a bit and tell the story together. Right. Yeah. I think that would have provided me with a bit more closure, but you know, at this point it is what it is.
I laughed when you were like you and Elsie have the same tasting guys. You're like, I'm not dating a near my boyfriend.
Funny.
That was so funny.
She said a ton of guys sliding in her DMs, by the way.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. She's like, Jessica met her boyfriend through Instagram. Why can't I?
I feel like it's the new kind of Tinder. Sliding in the DMs. My best friend just got engaged, and her boyfriend met her. We were at this church event, like the singles event. And she posted a picture publicly and tagged where we were, and he slid into her. They just got engaged 5 years later.
Sure.
So it happens.
Oh God, I need to try that. Like,
I feel like it works. I'm hearing so many success stories.
So when you watched the series back, was there anything like that surprised you? Like during other people's confessionals or anything like that?
I think that surprised me. Well, I guess this is more with seeing it play back and everything with Damian and Francesca.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing that surprises me maybe the most of the whole series, because I obviously had a really tough time in the original series, and we all do really foolish things when it comes to love, right? Yeah. Like, I think we're all kind of like, that was a strange moment for him to have her come to this party. But what I would say about Damian is probably of the whole entire cast, I think he's one of the more just better humans. Like, he actually was someone who was there for me more than most when the last season came out. And I think he's, you know, unlike a lot of reality television personalities, isn't trying to just get ahead and be on the right side of the story and things like that. He's actually a really decent human. So for me, seeing that whole situation play out was really hard. Because I'm going, Dame, you're such a good guy and you're a good friend. And he's actually much more relatable than it looks there. So that was kind of strange. And then the whole Amber and Barnett thing, I was just kind of like shocked. Like I had no idea that there was this massive dissent still towards me. So that was really shocking. Yeah, and I just loved seeing Diamond do her thing. Mostly, I mean,
I feel like that she's got so much more airtime in the reunion than she did in the original show.
Oh yeah, and she had no idea she was going to get that much airtime, but I'm like, you need to have some people reaching out to you to host their show, or at least do like a stand-up comedy show and take it on the road. She's so funny.
But in the, like what you were saying about Damian, do you see kind of like comparisons to how you were treated after the original ones to how he's being treated now?
Absolutely. It's just like, oh, this person's a piece of crap. And, it just couldn't be further from the truth. He's actually just such a kind human. He's someone you want to have in your corner, and he's going to be in your corner. He's just a really decent person. Like I say, that's hard to find in this world I'm, a part of now. This whole reality world. He's a hard worker. He's has a good heart. So I hate to see that happening to him. I hate to see it happening to Amber and Mark as well. This world of social media and this world of reality TV, it's very polarizing. One person's in, one person's out. And it's, it's all entertainment at the end of the day. It's like, I like to say, choose to be entertained and choose to be kind. So these people are, airing out some very personal things. This is a very high pressure situation, and we all act a bit unnatural once the cameras are rolling.
And what you said earlier is so true. Like, it's the character separate to the person. So,
right.
So, like everybody's going to put on a character when you find it in front of a camera, and the person is so different to who that really is.
Exactly.
So do you have any regrets over everything?
Regrets. I really don't. I feel like everything is kind of happened for a reason. And I feel like I'm in a great place now. It was really hard to sit on a lot of the things that I had to own for a year and a half. But I'm just glad that Kinetic and Netflix gave me the opportunity to come out with my story and to tell another side of it. Because I think it also puts in perspective when people are watching these one-sided stories that there is always more going on behind the scenes. So that was really important for me. I would say, of course, I would like to take back some of those less sober moments in the original series, but to like, I don't know, it was good for entertainment. And, I think there were also a lot of lessons that could be learned from that, and kind of looking back on myself in that way too. So not too many regrets, really. Never thought I'd say that, but
it also led you to who you are today and the relationship you have now, which you look so happy in.
Yeah, I'm definitely happier than ever in the relationship that I'm now. I think it's just choosing to be in the relationship for the right reasons, and really having worked on myself for so long, and kind of being single for like that 5-year stretch. I was pretty much unattached. That time, taking that time to figure out who I really am, who I really, want to potentially find in the future. But hey, if I don't find someone, that's okay too. Yeah. I think that's what has led me to, ultimately being in the happy place that I'm in now. It's just choosing to be whole on my own and not looking for it in someone else.
Oh,
right. Because that's what I was kind of throwing myself into this opportunity going, hey, like everyone else finding someone, and here I am, and I'm kind of the odd man out. And as you can see, that played out in a very unnatural and in a not good way for me. So I think, taking my time and just, hey, if it doesn't happen, that's okay. It doesn't happen. And, I'll do something different. But yeah, I think that's really the key and the biggest lesson that I've learned.
Okay. So just like slightly off topic, but the question we ask everybody is, who was your first celebrity crush? So who's your first?
Oh, this is really funny because he's like in the news right now. Ben Affleck was like, I love the guy. The funniest thing is, so Ben, my boyfriend, sent me a screenshot of Ben Affleck and JLo kissing. And he's like, I just opened Google and my heart dropped because I thought this was me. And I'm like, what? It actually, the picture he sent me kind of did look like him. So it's kind of funny. But he always makes fun of me that I have a huge crush on Ben Affleck because poor Ben, like the paparazzi always gets him when he's out with his Dunkin' Donuts on his coffee runs, and he looks horrible. I'm like,
he's sad face.
Yes, he always looks so depressed. I'm like, he's a good-looking man. I feel like he's so much fun to hang out with. He's highly intelligent. That's my guy, and I like the name.
Jessica, thank you so much for this. This was so lovely.
This was so great.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Nice to talk to you, and I love your podcast. So thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. Yeah, from all of us in South Africa, like, we just want to say, like, so many people message me to tell me, like, just tell her that we're sorry for the first season and we love her.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny. One of my really good friends here in Southern California is from South Africa. She's kind of back and forth. Well, not right now, obviously.
Okay.
But she's kind of been with me every step of the way here. So she'll love hearing this.
Thanks so much, Jess. That was our interview with Jessica Batten. Love is Blind. You can watch on Netflix. You can find her on Instagram at Jessica Batten _. So, Leanne, it's time for our favorite segment of the show. So what have you been crushing on?
I have been crushing on the flight attendant with Katie Coco and
Quaco. I don't know.
Rosie Quaco. Rosie Perez and Michiel Huisman.
Oh my, with that man. I'm very weak for that man, Leanne. I can't deal.
I know. I was so bleak because spoilers. He dies in like the first episode. So, and the plus side, like, because the minute he died, I was like, you would not cast someone like that to just like disappear. So he's actually a recurring character through flashbacks and other stuff. And it is honestly such a good series. We were not expecting it to be so good. But it had us hooked from the first episode. The music, honestly, it's one of those shows where you pay attention to so many things outside of just the show, if that makes sense. Like, the music was fantastic in terms of creating anxiety and the tension and the stress and the pace. And the other thing I loved about it, which I was so delayed at clocking, but once I clocked it, I couldn't unsee it, was the fact that it's one of those shows where every single storyline is driven by a strong female character. So it's Katie Coco, who plays a flight attendant who goes through something very traumatic, and it's all about her trying to deal with that. And in her trying to deal with that, she ropes in her best friend, who's a lawyer, played by Zasia. Yeah. Brilliant actress, really great chemistry and scene work. Like, they're so good together. And then Rosie Perez plays like the mother figure, but who also has a dark secret and does her own stuff. And then there is an assassin who is played by, my only frame of reference for her is a character in Doctor Who, and I have forgotten the actress's name.
Michelle? Why? The last time I spoke to you, I said her name. Michelle Gomez, you are correct. Clap hands. And so it was honestly, like, all of them so good. It gets you hooked. Really, really great show. And then the other thing, which we ended up watching by chance after a horrible day at work, and we both my husband and I needed to not think. We ended up watching The Meg on Netflix, which I remember when it came out was slated as like just this horrible, dramatic, over-the-top monster movie, which
is its own genre. But honestly, such a joy to watch. Like, it's got Jason Statham, it's got a couple of other people who look familiar, but like, who knows what their names are. And just the casting is on point, the acting is on point, the plot is a stupid, ridiculous monster movie plot, but it's brilliant. It's so much fun. It gives you the jump scares, it gives you the laughter, it's even got the romance that you want to ship. Like, such a jewel if you're looking for something mindless and fun and like a little bit chaotic, because Jason Statham trying to like spear a megalodon, like a mega was it cool? Anyway, it's so extra lovely and fun and wonderful. So yeah, give it a shot if you haven't.
And for me, I've been a bit like down in the dumps lately, so I was trying to watch things to cheer me up. So I've been watching a lot of Ted
Mhm.
Lasso. Um, yo, like I don't know, it just gives me so much joy. But also, like I was like very trying to be very good and like limit myself to watch like one a day. Sometimes I rewatch episodes because I'm not usually a person who
Mhm.
rewatches episodes of things, especially things I only like. I don't, yeah, like as I said last week, I watch some Superstore and Friends, like that's the stuff I rewatch. But like I'll watch a episode and then rewatch that same episode. That's how good it is. And because I was like, okay, one a day, because I only need like that. I need that one boost of serotonin,
Serotonin.
and then like there'll be really bad days where I'll watch like three a day. like and I judge my days and how many Ted Lasso episodes I end up watching.
Okay, so I have seen so much buzz about this. Like, my Twitter timeline is all about people going, Ted Lasso, have you seen the last episode? Rah, rah, rah. And all I know is that it's amazingly feel good because everyone is talking about how it makes them happy. But I know nothing else about it. So, like, what is just a brief
So
synopsis? Like,
basically, it's this football soccer club in the UK, Premier League, whatever. And they have a new manager because the manager and his wife manager, what the fuck, owner and his wife get divorced, and she
okay,
gets the club in the divorce, and then she fires the old manager and she's hiring a new one. Then she hires this American football coach from America, from USA, and he comes over and like all the place is like, what the hell are you doing? But she like um she's hoping to like sabotage the club and stuff like that, but he just automatically like wins everybody over, and he's just like his whole vibe with coaching is like about um about like making the players feel good with each other, making them feel good about themselves, and like just like very motivational. But I mean, it's not always happy. Like there's sad moments. There's like trauma that people are going through. It's like it's real. It feels real, but it's just such a joy to watch. And oh, just love it so much. So it's from Jason Sudeikis, obviously one of the creators, and also Bill Lawrence, who made Scrubs and Cougar Town and that kind of thing. So
oh, so that
yeah,
sort of energy and
and
vibe.
so it's really funny
Got
as
it.
well. Yeah, but like I'm quite a fan of of well, I mean not so much anymore, but I do like English football quite a lot, and put that with like good comedy, and it's like match made in heaven. And Jason Sudeikis, I love him.
I wasn't gonna bring this up while we were recording, but then you mentioned English football and that you used to be a fan, and I was like, did you see Cristiano's back in
I did
Manchester?
see that. I did see that.
Do the crushing on
They
people get a
know.
little
They
bit too
know. They know.
shameful?
I'm sure they know. We don't need to bring it up again. I'm sure enough people on this
Okay.
podcast enough of my friends have been on the show and have want to embarrass me with that fact. So they know. I know. It feels like I'm in high school again. Cristiano is back at United.
Manchester.
I'm knitting again. Like it's a lot of it's a lot of callbacks in my life right now. But anyway, no people from high school need to make a return. That's fine.
No, no
Yeah, no
season one
season one
character
characters need to make cameos. No.
cameos.
But anyway, we live and we learn. Watch Ted Lasso. It's a lovely show. If you're looking for that serotonin. Yeah, that's all from us this week. We will catch you in 2 weeks' time with episode 5. Have a great week.
Me you can find at Caryn Walby on Instagram, at Caryn Walbys on Twitter, and sign up for my newsletter Wild Streams at wildstreams.substack.com. The podcast can be found at Crushing On Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, at What IGN's Crushing On YouTube, and you can find more information about this and all our other episodes at our website, crushingonpodcast.com, and send any feedback to mail@crushingonpodcast.com. Send us voice notes at +27 78 362 2566. Join our Facebook group, Crushing On Club, where we chat about the show, celebrity news, recommendations, the whole shebang. The show is produced by me, Caryn, and Rebecca Barches. The show is edited and engineered by Rebecca Barches, or admin is done by Leanne Phillipson. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof, and the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can, any way that you can. Keep up to date with all of our episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find the show. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another in-depth conversation with another pop culture lover. See you then.